Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather round, gather round. We've got story time coming up tonight. I always like to start these off from the heart, a place of solidity, you know. So, you know, the place where, look, if you have some kind of agenda, I'm of the belief that if you have some kind of agenda or you're working off of a script of any sort of thing whatsoever, you know, you got bullet points, you got some kind of like flashcard things that you ever want to talk about, that you're not, I think, what's there to say? That's, okay, what I'm trying to say is, no matter what, everything is natural. Even man-made things, even artificial flavorings, these are natural. Because we're human, and so we're natural. And so everything that we do is a byproduct of nature, the universe itself. You know, asphalt, sidewalks, agriculture, cement, but I think that when it comes to, I don't even know what I think. You know what I think, dude? I think that we are people. We're people. And people can very easily become the byproducts of both their environment and the contents of their mind. I like the anecdote. Uncle Iroh. Who doesn't love Uncle Iroh? He says sometimes the best way out of your problems is to help another with theirs. I think that generally that's a good rule, just because I think kindness is nice. But I also find that you can end up becoming codependent in that kind of way. If all you ever do is help other people with their problems, you have a problem if no one else has a problem. Because now you're just kind of there. It's like when you go to sweep up the dust, and there's always just that last little bit of line. There's that last little line of dust right there that won't get swept in the dustpan. And so you gotta like shimmy, shimmy, raw, shimmy, shimmy, yeah. Do something with it. If you disperse it well enough, it'll be like there's no dust whatsoever. Anyways, I just wanted to start talking, dude. I wanted to start talking because I didn't want to live inside of my mind anymore. Living inside of my mind is like living as Bumblebee does from the Transformers movie. It's just all these different radio stations that start playing. Or if you've never seen the Transformers movie and you have no idea who Bumblebee is, he doesn't have a voice of his own. The way that he communicates is by just changing radio stations. You know, if they're ever in a dire situation, they'd be like, Bumblebee, hold on. And he'd be like, don't stop believing. You know, I wish I had just a beautiful arrangement of, you know, a wide array of radio stations, but I don't, you know, but that's okay. You know, the inside of my mind is like a serial killer's letter. You know, it's just various cutouts of magazine papers, different fonts, so they can't pick up on a handwriting. This is what it's like inside of my mind, okay? And I wanted to come out here and enlighten the world that this is not reality. Living inside of your mind is not reality, because oftentimes the voices inside of our minds are not our own. It's a little tricky. Look. Now, I'm not saying that who we listen to on the internet are good or bad people. All I am saying is that everybody you've ever encountered in your entire life has a viewpoint. They have an opinion, they have a perspective, they have their own settings, preferences, default modes, you know, behavioral aspect, you know, the big five, you know, on the spectrum of personality traits, you know, thinkers, feelers, conscientiousness, openness, agreeableness, you know, to the degree that they're courageous or introverted, extroverted, you know, all these sorts of, and many more sorts of ideas. Now, inside of the mind, sometimes there will be a soul, a spirit living inside of your mind. Someone that you've ingested enough of their internet content for them to sort of like be like a voice in your mind. Probably the strangest thing I've ever heard. He's like, we're passing through the mushroom portal. You're following in right after behind me. Aliens. I no longer stutter. Sorry, I just encountered Paul Stamets. Anyways. Okay, so if I'm talking about what it is like to live inside of your mind, this is what it is. our mouth, it usually happens when we are inside. Okay, when we are inside, did you know that when we're inside, we're usually around other people? And usually when we're in, look, okay, I recognize in this moment I am projecting my entire life onto every viewer of this, but I can't even imagine any otakus out there. You know, some complete isolated, shut-in sort of people. It's like we. Dude, when I go inside, I can be as loud as ever. I open up that door. Shh. I take my muddy shoes off at the door. And when I do such that, it's almost like a hermit crab, right? Humans are a little bit like hermit crabs. Or we can be. We can be. The best thing about human beings is that really our ability comes from the mind. Our mind's ability to like project itself onto things, to, you know, sort of apply ourselves to various situations, run simulations of things. This is what dreaming is. This is what flight simulators are. This is what theoretical. This is what playing the tape out means, right? We can personify things. Hey, what would you do in an apocalypse? What's the first thing you do in an apocalypse? I'd go to Walmart. I'd get all the insulin possible. I'm diabetic. What would you do? I would go get all the dried beans and canned goods possible. Non-perishables. You know, we could be prompted and then sort of apply ourselves. This is not exactly what a hermit crab is, but in this scenario, hermit crabs. Outdoors, hermit crabs they're loose, man. They're out the shell. Indoors, hermit crabs are receding. We're going in. Or we can. You know, it's more of a rare form individual for someone to just walk inside a full house or whatever and be like, damn, it's quiet as hell in here. Okay. I'm losing the plot, but I'll bring it back. What happens if you don't get outside of your mind for a while? Your mind will start scheming. It'll start scheming. You know? Alright, I'm sorry, everybody. I've been using a lot of you statements. I've been using a lot of you statements and we statements. And I don't think I'm really in a position to be sort of defining all of human experience when they're inside versus outside, or when they're talking versus when they're thinking. So instead, I'll just talk about my personal experiences with this. And then if you tend to resonate with that, or if you don't, then this is a personal experience of mine or of those who are similar to me. Dude, very rarely do I hear my own voice in my head when I'm not talking, when I'm not inside. Especially when I'm alone inside, but there's family around. But we're all in our own little nooks and crannies or whatever. My mind, it's like figuring out... It's contemplating life. It's figuring life out. It's... I've been doing more of a new thing recently. This is a practice that I've been exercising a little bit. I tend to think that, okay, so in recent times, I've been, inside of my algorithm has been more religious, more Christian focused, more Christian-centric content. I was going to say religious before, but religion, philosophy has been in my zeitgeist for many years now. You know, before it was more like spirituality, meditation, Buddhism, Taoism, Alan Watts, Ram Dass, Love, Serve, Remember, We're All One, Flower of Life, psychedelics, trip stories, 432, 999 hertz, love frequency, love vibration, I like what you're doing to me, type stuff. And now, it's more, I think because I've been using the word God a lot, that my phone's like, God, Christianity, send him this, go, send him the flood, go! And so I've been getting this kind of stuff. And, What do I want to say? Huh. Well, oh my God. Here's what I want to say, I suppose. Dude, I tend to see people, and I don't want to stereotype, right? So I won't stereotype. But for the sake of the story and description, if I have to describe what time of day it was and where I was and what I was doing. You can't have a story without time and space. Where was it? When was it? Where are we? Who was there? Jeez Louise. I am duking it out. I'm duking it out right here, right now, dude. I'm constipated in my spirit. I'm constipated spiritually right now. Sorry. I gotta take a Miralax or something like that. Cranberry juice. Wow. Wow, this is more or less intense. Pretty intense for just a walk, huh? Look, when I was younger, I thought spirituality, dude, when I first got into like Buddhism, when I first got into like that whole lingo of the world, there are these things called cities. And I'm not talking CITIES cities like the city of New York, the city of Austin, Texas, the city of Dallas. I'm talking cities. And cities is, I can't remember if it's a Sanskrit word or a word in Hindi from India. But it means powers, like spiritual powers, mental powers, mind powers. And really, it's no different. It's like the adult version of like when we were in kindergarten and we would play house and I would pretend that I'm the doctor. She would pretend she's my wife, and that guy would pretend that he's my dog or something like that. And then we'd all sort of play pretend, we would get into it, and then we would be that. And then we would sort of play. We would literally play, right? Cities are kind of no different than that. It's like playing pretend. And this is crazy. This bleeds through, dude. This is the Sharpie of ideas here. This is the sort of belief that this is the idea of the universe in the human world that is the lever. It is the lever that if you apply it at the right angle, you can move the universe with. This is the idea behind the placebo effect. This is the idea behind faith. This is the idea of visualization. Seeing is believing. This is the idea of manifestation. Cities. The word means power or powers. Superpowers. Mental powers. Powers of the imagination. And oftentimes, what people will do with these cities is, we try and bring about cities to change our mindsets, to change our approach an outlook on life, to change our emotions, to change how we will respond in various situations and scenarios. It's the different. It's like putting it's like putting something in parentheses in your life. Like, focus on this first. Every time someone asks if we're going to go out and do something, we say yes. Except if we haven't worked out yet. Except if we haven't done X, Y, and Z beforehand. It's like, yeah, cities. What did I want to say? How do I tie this back into what I was talking about in the beginning? Help. Thanks. Wow. Help, thanks, wow. These were the 3 prayers that got me through addiction. And I recognize that addiction, it's just one addiction after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next one. And hopefully you sort of randomize your addictions until you find some addictions that work for you. And I only say this because somebody asked me, they were like, dude, how did you do it? How do we 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 do it? Well, I tried the 3 prayers. Help. Thanks. Wow. I only ever would really get to the first one. Help. 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 I don't know how many times I don't think I got to wow like one fucking time during the span of when it was really hard. Wow. Okay, this is my first wow. Wow! That's number 2. I want to tie this back to the mind. And what it is to live in the mind. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. That's what living in the mind is. Living in the mind is like moving off of presuppositions. It's moving off of predetermined sort of grooves and tracks. I said I was going to do this thing, and now I'm going to do this thing. And it's like, but in me, what is my... If I was Jack Sparrow and I could just pop open that goddamn compass and the compass takes me where my heart wants to go, where would that goddamn compass be, Where would it be pointing? Okay. I see it. I recognize it. And this is definitely something that I've been sort of grappling with for a while now. I have a tendency to go and then go some more. Just continuously going. I go blind on it. And I can go blind. All of us, every single one of us can go blind into this thing. And I would implore everybody to do such that anyways. Go blindly into things, fumble around, stumble, because what happens is you just get acquainted with the space. You get acquainted with the space, okay? If you this is the thing about faith that irks me a little bit about. I see it in old heads. I see it in people who are very devout, and they want to preach as well. No shade to them, but what I do see, look, if I say I don't want wars, I don't want conflict between us people, but if we are all these sorts of people who don't have, we are individuals who don't necessarily have our one little blanket isn't enough to cover the whole world, or whatever. I don't know if covering the world is a good analogy. The food for thought that one man can produce is not enough to transcend cultures all the time. Like, dude, they sent Tupac to the hood, god damn it. They sent Willie Nelson to Elvis, they send these people to speak to certain people. Gandhi, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like different strokes for different folks, is what I'm trying to say. But we're all pointing at similar things, are we not? Some people say it's one true Jesus Christ. And look, Jesus Christ, I've loved that man since the dawn of time. Every time I've ever encountered Jesus Christ, he has always been the sweetest man, the most thoughtful person. Jesus Christ is an energy. Jesus Christ is an energy. And I'm looking at memories of the stoic, solemn, kind-hearted, and gentle Jesus Christ that you'd encounter in your life. Good listener, receptive, patient, serene, like a placid lake. Fast. Look, sometimes I'll see a kind of fear in the old heads. I'll see a kind of There's an apprehension, there's a paranoia, there's an operation of fear behind what they do. And it's what would I call it? I would call it like superstitious. Superstitious is the word. I notice that sometimes people will become so superstitious by the letter of the law, what the words say, what the text says in the book, that they're afraid to move beyond that boundary because it might put them on the path of the sinners. I'm just saying, dude, faith is an interesting thing. Faith is not necessarily just sort of loving the commandments, loving the tenets, loving the various ordinances of whatever sort of religion there is. But what I'm saying is, faith is kind of like going, you could go anywhere. You can go all around the world and beyond, and you can still come back home. And that's because you know where home is. Home is where the heart is. And this is just my belief. I think that I'm a heart-centric person. Look, everybody under the sun wants to say, okay, I'm gonna step this back. I'm gonna nip this at the bud early. I'm not gonna say everybody's statements, because what I recognize is that I do this. So I'm not gonna paint the world with my method and say that everybody does this. I'm a heart-centric person, and I happen to think that when you come from the heart, no matter the genre of music that comes out of that subwoofer, it's good. Why? Because I like music. I'm a heart-centric person. So whether we're playing swing music, whether we're playing Miles Davis, whether we're playing John Coltrane, whether we're playing J. Cole, whether we're playing Kendrick, whether we're playing Ye, whether we're playing whoever we're playing, I'm a heart-centric person. And so if I hear a blues sort of, if I hear a song such as November Rain by Guns N' Roses, my man, it's like I have the ability to feel. Heart is associated with courage. It's associated with feeling for me. It's associated with compassion, empathy, feeling every aspect of life, the passions, okay? The burning, I don't believe in wrong feelings. What I tend to notice is some people can become more reserved. They become more reserved, and they become more formal type of human beings. They become more highbrow individuals. I come over here just to say, look, guys, just because you've become highbrow now doesn't mean the game has changed, okay? The game has always been whatever whatever fucking team I'm on, that's the team that's supposed to be winning. All right? It's the whole thing behind patriotism, nationalism. Who's red team? Red team's obviously bad. Who's blue team? That's good team. It's friendlies versus foes, no matter where you goes. Okay? US is in a war with Canada. Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Well, it depends what country you're from. Oh. Generally. And so it, yeah. And so. Hold on, guys. I know some people could chew gum and walk down the sidewalk simultaneously, but I'm not of the nature that I can do some shit like that. I can't. I'm not allowed. Well, here's another one. Look, dude, I hear people, they'll be like, what is wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What am I doing in this moment in time? In this moment in time, I am coming to the world with a perspective. And I'm coming to the world with a perspective in the hopes that I can plant this perspective and it could germinate within the echo chambers that this perspective will be held in, generally. There are folks out there, we're talking religion right now. I'm talking religion right now. There are folks out there that say, if you want to get closer to Jesus Christ, read your Bible. I wanted to get closer with the Lord, so I had to read my Bible. There are people that will quote Scripture, John 3:16, Corinthians 4:20, Prometheus 9:13. First and foremost, I don't know what those scriptures are. Secondly, guys, God is not defined. He is not limited by what's going on in the book. Okay. Look, I'm sorry. Huh. Okay. Here's what I wanted to say. That he's not only in the book. And he's not limited to the Bible either. Look. If you're looking, dude, if you're looking for God, all I'm going to say is if you're looking for God, but you're not coming from if you don't have the right lenses on, you're never going to see him no matter where you look. But in the same token, if you're living in the way that, if you're living in your purpose and you're doing the activities, how you should be doing them, in the ways that, like, you're moving through life in the way that, oh God, I don't even know how. I don't have the words for this. If you're moving in God's time, if you're in the barrel of the wave that God has provided for you, and you have taken such an opportunity to paddle, to fucking do a push-up, do a goddamn burpee on that surfboard, balance yourself, fucking use your technique and shit, and now you're wiggling and you've made yourself into that barrel, you will see God in the texture of an avocado. Everything, I'm telling you, everything, all of it, every little thing. Now, here's where I think we get fucked up. We use the word God a lot. If we really wanted to open this message up and provide awareness and consciousness of cosmic consciousness, of universal consciousness, of the illusion of separateness, then, the God is kind of it's like the red flag for a matador. It's like, look over here, whing! Look over here, wham! It's that little girl from Charlie Brown with the football. Ooh, I'll let you kick it. pull it away, last second. It's like, I get it, you know? The terms such as the relationship dynamic between your mind and your environment doesn't, you know, that doesn't spark the same sort of, oh, Lord, as, you know, God does, but that's what I tend to find what it is. Like, people say, I want to be closer to God. It's like, hey, look, there is no getting closer, okay? You're already in it. You're in it. You're in it. You're submerged in it. It is entirely you. It's so you don't even know fucking damn, like, it's like, okay, what I describe it as, it's like trying to read an expressionless face. It's like trying to read a poker face, and you're no good at the game of blackjack. Or you're just unaccustomed to it. You know, there's too many things happening all at once. You know, first off, you don't even know how to play the game, so you don't know what cards are dealt, you don't know strategies, you don't know, you know, what happens if that guy has whatever. Oh, that guy put another thing in. Is he bluffing? Let me look at his face. Oh, shit. I can't tell. That is the telltale sign right there. It's symptomatic of you. Look, I love all religions. I love all studies of philosophy and this sort of life strategies and, I love this sort of... I love it, dude. I love just, like, perspectives of life. I love wisdom. I love knowledge. I love understanding. I love it! I love it in every single form. Yes! Bring out the Quran. Let me hear the wise quotes from the Quran. Bring out the 5% Nation. Let me hear, what's today's mathematics? Astrology? Come on! Come on! I like hearing these things. I do. Look, I'm not at my house right now, which means I'm not in front of my family right now. I'm out in the middle of the world. I'm by the goddamn canal, my friend. I'm by the canal, alone. I could yell as loud as I want. No one's gonna come over here. And if they did, I could simply walk away or whatever. And what I'm saying is, this wouldn't come out the same if I was in front of other people. You get me? Do you understand me? If I'm in my room talking about whatever I'm talking about, it'd come out a little bit different because it would be filtered. It would be filtered through the shared perspective of everybody under that roof. So I'm not going to go out and say that we should do this and we should do that and move that over there and do this over here. You three, dig this trench, do it 50 yards that way and 100 yards over yonder. You know? I don't want to be the dude, you know, everybody wants to rule the world. I like this quote from Jordan B. Peterson. It's basically like, yo, chill. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. You better check yourself before you shrek yourself. He said, you should try and put your own house in order before you go out and try and order the world. I don't think it's wrong to ever think that you have the right or wrong perspective in life. If you ever came to the understanding that every single one of us, human beings and perspectives, are like keys in an organ, keys in a piano, on a piano. And then it would be kind of crazy to think about this perspective for a second. Oh, dude, that's the wrong key. What do you mean? There's no such thing as a right key or a wrong key. Oh, it didn't sound right. Well, look. It's paradoxical. It's paradoxical, right? That dude that said that there's a wrong key, he's got a good ear. He's able to pick up, oh, that was in pitch with all of that was in resonance with all those other keys that were played in the symphony surrounding that one key. That's the key that's out. That's the odd key out. He's got a good ear. He's not wrong, right? It's a different kind of game, This dude's playing the game right here, the senses with the ear. Oh, this sounded right. Oh, it just didn't. Other dude's playing the game like, what the fuck kind of game is he even playing, right? What kind of game is that guy even fucking playing? Maybe he's playing the awakening game, like, maybe he's playing the game, we should all chase our tails more often. Maybe we should all play the game instead of oh my god, see, they used to do this in DECA. They used to do this in debate class, You would write your whole, you'd pick your fucking argument, you'd write your whole shit for your one side of the argument, and then right before you give your sort of testimonial, the teacher would say, all right, everybody who is going to argue for this side, all right, you're now going to argue for the opposite side. Whoa. As opposed to like adopting the viewpoint of whatever your perspective is. As opposed to like making an identity attached to whatever your perspective is. All right, for my next trick, I have to, okay? I am bound by my own ego in this instant. I'm a heart-centric person. All right, how about we go for the mind, How about easy, I can state a case for the mind, dude. When I shut the fuck up, my shit is on. And I'm just zipper, zip, key lock, throw the key out the door, and it's just me and the mind right there. It can be interesting, definitely. Oh my god, this is gonna enlighten the world. Look, when my mind takes over, and my mind is just storytelling, it's world building, it's narratives, it's associations, it's nuances, it's don't do this because this will mean that, and put this here because it's better, and it'll signal to them that you thought of them and you were thinking of them and you were doing this in a lovingly way, and choreograph this and the experience of here and that and moving this and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And I don't think that it always is or it always will be. But I did initially come out with the sort of disdain for it. Initially because I wanted to burn it down. I wanted to burn that sort of mental model down. Because at any given point in time, I wanted to bring awareness. I wanted to bring awareness that at any given point in time, when your mind is chattering and the inner consciousness of your own voice sounds like Jay-Z or Jordan B. Peterson, you can just go, shh. No joke. In the same fashion that you have the ability in your mind to think of a glowing sun in the void of space, and then you can change that glowing sun from the void of space into some kind of cartoon UFO in your imagination, you have the ability to silence the consciousness inside of your own mind. And you can take things once more from a perspective that is filtered through the mind and how the mind wants to operate, and you can change this from just direct experience of what it's like to live inside of your body, inside of your mind. And look, you don't have to get rid of all the tenets. You don't have to get rid of your connection with the Almighty, right? Let your light, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't think I'm a faith-based person. I love God, dude. You know why I love God? Because at any given moment in time, I could just talk to God. And I can talk to God from whatever perspective and whatever feelings I have in my life. And He listens. And He's like, no, yeah, I hear that for sure. And I'm not an evil person. I'm not a bad person. I don't need to pretend that I'm a good person. I don't need to be civilized and cultured to death. I'm like, yo, this is what I am right now. And it doesn't feel, oftentimes my life is like it's a sort of processing. Do you know what I experience? I experience the cold, okay? I experience the cold. I experience the cold. I experience the bravery. I experience the jump. I experience the leap. Because, it's often less and less, really, is it like this, because the more that you clean, the more that you organize, the less you have to clean, the less you have to organize. So I've been doing this for quite some time now. You know it. I know it. And so it feels, it's whoo, I feel more confident in, I just feel that no matter what I'm bringing to the table, dude, I don't need to feel the fear, okay? Now, I'm not saying go into life and just be a warrior type, just be strong and stoic. No, I'm saying that I don't need to feel the fear about being fearful. Like, I don't need to fear like what other people are gonna sort of judge me as, oh, he's a weak man. He's a weak man. Look at the fear on his face. It's like, dude, have you ever... Dude, I'm a full body liver. Face included. The entire thing. Okay? And so, so, you know, what do you call this? It's like, when the universe fills me, dude, when you get shot with adrenaline, if someone just came up behind you and stuck you in the ass with a needle full of adrenaline, you're gonna feel that, okay? If someone came up and applied some kind of beta-alanine, caffeine, like nicotine patch on your arm, you're going to feel those tingles, okay? You're going to feel it regardless, because that is what chemistry is. 1 + 1 is 2. All right, so when he says, all right, I took it, dude, because he looks at the whole backlog. All right, he looks at all the personal histories that I have with everybody. You know, he's taking into account all the sorts of interactions that I've had with other people and all this and that. And he's like, he's more aware than I am. I can't put it into words. All the things that he's kept track of. All right, he's got the craziest algorithm in the whole universe. And so when he says, all right, for this one, you're gonna feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Now, I don't want you to pretend that you don't feel that. All right, I want you to actually feel that. And I want you to look at them like that. I want this interaction to go down like this. I want you to actually look at them like that and have that sort of encounter and just be that. Be that to the best of your ability. And I'm like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gotcha. Totally. I'll do that. Naturally. Of course. Of course. And because it's not that I've given up on trying to be a good person. You know, I think if anything, it's just been me opening up to become I'll take one from the books of Numb, you know, right? Why not? You know? You say, yeah. To be more like me and be less like you. You know, as I grow, I'm more comfortable being more like me and being less like you. I heard this the other day, and what Bruce Lee had said, someone asked him, he was like, so, like, how do you find peace? He says, you don't find peace. You choose peace. You find peace in what you ignore. And so that's definitely a perspective. And sometimes, I'll be honest, dude, I feel a little guilty. Because, man, I hate hate how I word things nowadays. Always using the terminology God, man. Like, I feel like that limits me in a way. But you know what? Will I figure it out in time, or will we figure it out in time? We're figuring it out in time, all right? Time heals a lot of things. You know, because this sounds so bad. But I'll say it anyway. I'll push through. We'll find the light, okay? We gotta go through hell to make it to heaven, boys. We gotta be courageous. What are we scared of anyway? What are we scared of anyway? Is it what people will say? Me? Not in this very moment in time. So I'll say it. So, you know, sometimes what I've recognized is like, if I'm out here looking for God, you know, if I'm out here looking for me, if I'm out here looking for love, if I'm out here sort of filtering my experience in such a way, then that means that sometimes I'm not looking directly at people, right? And we don't have to. That's been one of the craziest challenges that I've that was one of the biggest trials and tribulations of my entire life. It was that other people got in the way of my connection with the universe. You know, I was moving in certain timings. I was moving with certain timings. I was moving with a certain tempo. I'm moving with a certain energy or whatever. All of a sudden, I come in contact with another person, and then it's like, it's just a wrench in my entire operation. You know, I'm thinking things like, I have to maintain eye contact 110% of the time. Now, the only thing going on inside of my mind is, wow, okay, when do I look away? Oh, shit. Just like downward spiral. You know, I know everybody's been there. Come on. I know everybody's been there. Dude, now I just have so much. Dude, wow, it's like, I have achieved diminishing returns. I have invested so much into the faith or the Gnosticism that it's like rebounding effects on me. Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in here and say that everything that I just said, it's not true. What is true is that I make problems for myself, or I make it appear like I've got problems. Life it's not, okay, it's not. I'm trying to circumnavigate the pain. I'm trying to circumnavigate all of the undesirable, unpreferable feelings to life. Because we have always come back into a sense of connection. Always. We've always come back to that sense of finding ourselves again. And that once you no longer have aversions to anything in life, you no longer have any desires, you no longer have any preferences for what you want to do or how you want to do it, how you want to come across, what others think of you. Dude, you are the freest ball of energy that a human, that someone who is encapsulated in a body can have. And what you get to know, that's the best thing you can. That's the best end. That's the end of the game. That's the beginning and the end right there. That's when you get to see it, dude. Because your eyes, the truth, waits for eyes unclouded by desire. Dude, this is all too human. Let me tell you what my mind has been caught on for longer than it should have, right? Back when I smoked nicotine and I was quitting, the thing that was on my mind was when I was quitting, my mind would chastise me every time I would betray myself in that way. Now, my mind's new thing is stick to the budget, be as frugal as possible, see if you can live off of absolutely nothing. Less is more, less is even lesser, less, just constantly, let's see how close to nothing we can live on. And so, here's my latest thing. I know, it's so embarrassing, right? It's so embarrassing. Oh, blah, 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 governmental cheese, Section 8, fucking, it's so embarrassing. Who cares, man? Because I know that if all good comes to those that stay true, you can help somebody with your experience, is what I'm trying to say. So, if you have the ability to articulate your experience to the best of your ability, dude, I promise you, it's, things come back as blessings or to haunt you. Sometimes both. But things that we've cried about, we'll find laughable at some point in time. So at some point, it's all good. It's all good. My mind's latest thing has been caught on cheese. Just ate the last little bit of cheese this morning. And I thought to myself, oh, dude, we got to go to the store and get some more cheese. Am I actually going to get the cheese? Is that a good financial investment? Do you think that if I got this cheese, this would help out somebody? And what I recognized is that when I went to the store today, and I went and I got that cheese and some other groceries, like none of it. Absolutely none of it. None of my experience was predicated on that cheese whatsoever. And everything that my mind had sort of stacked it up, odds against my favor of an experience for that to be. This is a great one. This one is a beautiful, like I think of life, I think of emotions in the same way that I think of jujitsu, in the same way that I think of wrestling. You know, sometimes in wrestling, both of the wrestlers start on their feet, ready to grapple, ready to grab. Other times they start from different positions, like, oh, this guy's in turtle position, this guy's over his back. Or sometimes they'll start in, you know, a little more intimate, open guard. But alas, I think that emotions are similar to, especially that of what wrestling is. That you're not always going to start from an advantageous emotion. You're not always going to start from the dominant position either. And it's like, what do you do then? So you do the same thing as you always would do. You kind of set your parameters and then you go. I set my parameters like I'm talking to you. Like I'm talking to somebody who's gonna understand me. Or that they can understand me. You know, I don't necessarily have it all figured out in the kind of way that I can write down in maybe like one sentence. But maybe maybe I could, right? Maybe two. God works in mysterious ways. And don't pray for a thing. Pray to put and keep yourself in harmony with God. I'm proselytizing, everybody. I'm preaching out here. Preaching the gospel. Spreading the good word. I'm spreading the good word that there is no difference between God, guru, and yourself. All right? What our connection with the world is, what we are all seeking is to be in resonance with our experience. What we are is we are an energy encapsulated inside of a body. Energy encapsulated within a human body means that it will behave in certain ways depending on what kind of energy is inside of it. Behaviors, patterns, actions, thoughts, what you'll do, what you won't do, etc., etc. Well, to me, what God is, what the universe is, what we are, is like our environment is one huge ass mirror. And if we're looking at the world from, it's so weird because like the world will poke you in various spots, and like some places you're ticklish, and if you try and pretend like you're not about to laugh in those moments, then you just won't see. You won't see who you are in any place that you look in the world. And then there's other times where that's all you get to see, you know? This is like, this is like kind of this is what psychedelics can bring upon, like, really fast. It's called pareidolia. It's where you look out, like, when you start tripping balls like you wouldn't believe, oftentimes you'll look out at the world and it's like you just see like creatures that are larger than life, like creatures that are gestalt images that take the various textures and different things of life, and they try and you just start seeing huge ass creatures in everything. You see faces, textures in everything, you know? The biggest lesson that I've ever learned in my entire life is that don't listen to anybody at all that isn't you. Okay? This is the number one rule for life when it comes to my life. Because oftentimes what I will hear is there will be people out there who will try and give you a sort of blueprint for life you'll hear it all the time from people who want to give you a blueprint for life. hear me out. I know I'm not doing anything different. I believe I'm giving the opposing perspective to that. Because I believe there's such thing as toxic positivity. I believe there's a point in time where compassion becomes too much. Oh, we want to be compassionate. We want to be loving. All of a sudden, now we're going outside and petting bears and shit. Oh, we want to be loving. We want to be compassionate. Oh, we're going outside and, oh, you're a cute little moose. It's like, no. You have to treat. You know, what scripture is there for this one? You know, treat the snakes as snakes. Treat the cats like cats and treat the dogs like dogs. Don't try and fit yourself into a mold to where you treat cats, dogs, and snakes, mooses, and bears all like they're the same thing. It's like, no. This isn't what I do. Everything is bespoke for the moment. Everything is tailored just for the moment. Right? I don't force myself to do various normal human behaviors. Like, if I have to wear a grimace on my face, I don't care about crossing the street. I don't care about, like, being perceived as a coward, being perceived as a loser. It's like, following my heart. I'm following my bliss. I'm following my tranquility. I'm following my peace. And there's tranquility in that. There is, I'm telling you, there's like, never give it up for a boy or a girl. One day it'll come when we only have each other. And that's nobody you know. It's not a person. If I had to put it into a sentence, I'd say it's you, but disembodied. It is you on display out in the world before you. This is what I would refer to it as. And so this isn't a thing that you look for. If you look for it, you're not going to find it. It's like trying to find the right key, the right tune on a guitar that's out of tune. You gotta tune the guitar. You gotta tune the string. Tune the note. Tune the chord. Now look. This is good. This is well. This is great. But I thought I should let you know the flip side to that coin. And that, look, no matter what perspective you take, there are blind spots to every perspective. Every single one of them. We can't fit ourselves around anything. There's trade-offs, pros and cons to every single one of them. And so, I'm always oscillating between this sort of life that I love and being in communion with the Spirit from the depths of my soul, from some place that feels true, authentic, honest, amazing, spectacular. But it's more of it's more of an isolated perspective, right? It's more solipsistic. It's more of, this is a personal universe, okay? This is a personal universe, all right? You've got your own. And so what I've got to learn is that we are all free to do and live life however, from whatever perspective we would like to. Be courageous. Be fearless. Be brave. Do it scared. Do it alone. Do it and wobble. Do it slow. Do it novicely. Do it inexperienced. Do it. Do it. Just do it. All right, now if you heard that and you took that as like an A-OK, if you took that as a kind of like sign to do some shit that you know isn't good for you, hey, don't do it. Don't do that. You know that's not good for you. We could be making better choices. I know the sort of consensus reality on what it is to be a good person. I know what good people look like if you asked a little kid to draw one. I know the kinds of things that a good person would say if you asked the average person, what is a good person? The idea that I want to give about what a good person is is that it's every single one of them. No joke. Every single person. What about Hitler? Fuck you. Fuck you. Of course you bring up Hitler. Dude. The reason why every single person is a good person is because the people around you inform you of who you are. Now, this is where spiritual battles get into play. Like, people are there in your life for you to grow. You know, I think about when I was around people, if we were plants, I would think about people who I was surrounded by, that I was a little sapling and they were big trees, just eating resources left and right, crazy. And I was the type of person that I couldn't represent myself well. I would get lost in the various worlds of all these others. But dude, okay, how about this one? I don't think that it's enough to just say, you just have to accept yourself, and then you'll find eternal happiness, everything. You'll just be blessed by life, basically. If you just learn to accept yourself and accept what's you're experiencing going on, I used to think this stuff, and I used to sort of find, like, brief pockets of happiness back when my life wasn't all that it could have been. And even nowadays, like, I don't want to ever get disillusioned into thinking that I have it all of it, that I'm completely pieced together, right? I still have things that I want. I still have big goals that I want to achieve. So what's the balance? What's the balance? Because I don't want to be disillusioned in that way. Not in the way that I was before. Sometimes I'd hear affirmations and shit like that, and then it would just like, you know what? Fuck it, dude. Honestly, things happen in God's time, bro. I can't go back and change the past, but I can go and express myself as to how I experienced it. I'd hear like affirmations and whatnot, and sometimes that would sort of give me the green light to go and slack off, or go and smoke weed, or go and, go buy more nicotine, or go along to get along, and just go forward and do things with my life, and waste my time, spend my time frivolously, do things that weren't good for me or my future. Impulsive behavior. And it's like, what's the balance between working towards something and living life for today? And if we have the ability to play, if we were pianos, and if, each of our emotions were chords, at what level, at how much will I allow myself to live my life playing chords of, the high notes, chords of positivity and whatnot. Anything that you say to the world and anything you say to other people, you say it to yourself just all the same. Life, we're always figuring it out. Every step that we take, we're figuring it out. Life never reaches this point in time where we have it all figured out. Life is a perpetual figuring it out. Figuring of it out. The way that you do this, the way that I do this, is you feel it out. What feels like the right thing to do? I take this back to the analogy of addiction, because it works like this in aspects of my life that are less sinister than the sort of overtness that carcinogens are. Things that are obviously bad for your lungs and bad for your long-term health. Things a little less ominous, like cheese. It's like, you know, nicotine I sort of chastise myself for in that way. Cheese I chastise myself because of money, finances, trying to be this like, oh, you know, trying to be an accountant, trying to make it, trying to get there. And it's like, at this point in time, because I don't know where to draw the line on it, because I don't know where cheese stands in my life, and because I haven't sort of cemented cheese as a necessity in my life, I'm still in this wobbly state with it. And it sort of holds this sort of strange position with me in my mind, because it isn't cemented anywhere. You know, with Greek yogurt, that's different. Like, Greek yogurt for me in my life is a necessity. It's like, I know that no matter what's happening, I'm getting Greek milk. Same thing. It's like, I know no matter what, I'm getting these things because I have to eat food. I want to eat tons of protein to maintain muscle. And so it's a non-negotiable. It's happening pretty much no matter what the weather. No matter what the economy is, this is what I'm going to eat. Getting it, for sure. Absolutely, no doubt. Easy purchase. Cheese is more of a gray area for me. It's like, I can kind of live with it. I can live with it. I can live without it. It's not, it's not the... So I'm still figuring it out. You see, once I figured out the sort of thing with nicotine, I loved that, dude. I loved that. That was my favorite shit in the whole world. Getting rid of it. Figuring out how to finally fucking rid myself of it. Like, the approach to it. Once I finally made the right associations in my mind, body, and spirit, it's like, bam. It was, yeah, that'll bring a tear to my eye. To give the blueprint out. You know, I had my last oorah. And then I said, yeah, this is it. From this point forward, anytime I have that craving, instead of hitting the nicotine to relieve the craving, anytime I have the craving from this point moving forward, this is what I do. Anytime I have the craving from this point on, this is the action I take. Anytime I have the craving from this point on, this is the behavior that I move forward with. And it was like doing some fucking Linux, goddamn manual fucking transmission on my ass. And that's how I did it. I told myself, I was like, yeah, whatever feelings I go through, yeah, whatever. These are the feelings that I'm going to go through. I told myself in my mind, I was like, I don't care how we do it. I don't care what we do instead. I don't care if I gain 15 fucking pounds. I don't care if I have to lean on other vices. I don't care if I have to bring other sins in. Give me 5 fucking days of whatever. Just give me fucking pandemonium. I don't give a shit. Okay? Nicotine, dropping the shit. I don't care. 15 pounds gain, we can live in the kitchen. Okay? Give me cinnamon rolls. Give me all the frozen bananas I want. Give me everything else. Just open up every fucking thing. Okay? The only thing I want in my life. I mentioned it before, dude. We're playing pretend. Mind's a powerful thing. If you want it, you can do it. If you want it, you can get it. But you really have to lay everything out on the line to do such that. You have to make it your number one priority. You have to make it the end-all, be-all. You have to make it the goal of goals. And you can do it. And you figure things out in the process. It's a figuring out. Because what I recognized 2 days in, actually, fucking, which was awesome, was that you can't start inviting demons because they just start inviting more. All right? That I wasn't able to replace nicotine for gluttony. I couldn't just replace nicotine for food because I recognized that I'll just have another problem I gotta fix. So really what I have to do is I have to actually clean the fucking room. I actually have to take out the trash. I can't just stuff everything under the bed. I can't just, fucking throw everything in the closet and mishmash. It's like, no, I have to actually go through everything here. And so that was, that was the best shit in the entire planet. Thank you so much for listening. It's been so fun. It's been so amazing. So amazing. So amazing. Everybody's lined up this evening. I'm a monster, barely breathing, holding on to what I believe in. No matter what, you'll never take that from me. Everybody, this is a true story from Kendrick Lamar, the Rosecrans. Guys, we gonna be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gonna be all right. Salute to my soldiers out there. I know this is an audio, so you can't see it, but I'm saluting you. Yes. All right, everybody. I'm dipping. Catch you later. Hermit crab. Going back in.